So I think I get this whole A24 Get Out style woke horror thing that people are doing now. We just need to pick a social injustice and then come up with a sci-fi premise that kind of makes it literal.
Okay.
So what's an injustice? Keep it light. What's out there? What's the last thing that irritated you about, like, the world?
Children.
Like, oh my god, that's
okay,
right.
I've got one. So,
Okay.
like, when you're, like, in a cafe or restaurant or pub, and there are, like, families with young children, like, especially, like, toddlers that are running around, and you're just trying to have, like, a beer or a roast.
Oh my god.
They should be, like, there should be, like, a section or something. Where it's like, this is where your children can run wild, and this is where the adults drink. The adults that chose not to reproduce. And you have to, like, have a certificate
the good
or
adults.
something.
Yeah, you need a pass to get out of there. Okay, so let's turn that into, like, a sci-fi concept that makes that literal. So I feel like we're on a spaceship, and there's, like, this weird parasite going around that forces you to produce these weird little goblin things. And some people do that because the goblins can be useful in some circumstances, and we
like
need to have some of the goblins.
Or something.
Yeah, they find gold sometimes. Some of them don't. Some of them just, like, need feeding forever, but some of them go out and find gold.
And some of them only find, like, milk bottle caps, you know.
And they come back and you have to be happy about it.
You're like, oh, that's so nice of you. Like when a cat brings a frog in. It's like that.
The whole movie is told from the perspective of, like, the officer class just trying to have dinner in the canteen whilst the goblins... Is there gold here? No.
No, go away.
No, you're meant to be below decks.
And they're like...
Perfect. A24 cast... Why do I want to say Eddie Redmayne?
Okay, he can be one of the goblins.
He can be... He can do mocap for the goblins. Lead goblin artist. Hello and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that is worthy of the life we deserve. I'm Paul Pine, and I'm joined by friend of the podcast and co-host of all sorts of things, including the Scottish film And We See Saw. It's Katy Maydon.
Hi.
Hey. Tell us about your main, like, non-Paul starring podcast.
My only non-Paul starring podcast.
I mean, your favourite.
My podcast is called Have You Ever Heard Of? And it's a history podcast about things from history you may or might not have heard of.
You probably haven't heard of them. There's some really good episodes in there. I mean, they're all really good episodes, but there's some really, like, really niche little bits of history that deserve to be remembered.
Yeah, we're running out of history now, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, you're going to have to do stuff that hasn't happened yet.
You may or may not have heard of the future.
You may not hear, yeah.
Yeah. May or may not hear of.
Yes, Katy joins us at the start of this rundown of some of the big critical failures of 2022. And where better to start than one of the most notorious misses of the year? It's Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry, Darling.
You and me.
Always. You and me.
Darling,
All of you wives.
with you all the time.
We men, we ask a lot.
Can't you see?
We ask for strength,
I long to be
food at home, a house cleaned,
with you all the time.
and discretion above all else.
Boys and their toys. At least we know they're getting work done.
Welcome to the Victory Project.
We're all here because we believe in the mission.
What are we doing?
Changing the world.
What are we doing?
Changing the world.
That's right.
What do you think they're really doing out there?
What do you mean? The one thing they ask of us is to stay here, where it's safe.
Oh my god. And I was so worried.
We were both so
both
worried
so
going
worried.
into this. And the audience that we saw it with did little to assuade our fears.
Yeah.
The teenage Harry Styles fans.
I was like,
we
why
were
are we
surrounded by.
here with, like, I was like, why are you the only dude in this whole cinema? We were both really puzzled. And then about, I don't know, 2 minutes in, I was like, Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I
see now.
I don't know. Do One Direction fans have a name?
Yeah, it is. It's like, I think it's Directioners. That's not even a joke.
Oh my god,
like,
Directioners.
I think so. It might be One Directioners,
I love it.
but I think it's I like Directioners more. I think.
Yeah, Directioners is good. It has like a weird sci-fi like navigator quality to it. The Directioners. The only direction they care about is the one in which Harry Styles is.
North.
He's always north.
He's
Keep
always
traveling there. He'll be waiting for you. Now, I usually offer some notes about the production here, but there's actually nothing to tell. It was very uneventful.
Yeah, it was a smooth sailing the whole way. There was no Shia LaBeouf involved.
No, Shia LaBeouf wasn't involved at all, everyone. And I know that legally you have to say that for every movie just to assure people. Nope, he wasn't here. Oh, good. Some of these non-events include that after Booksmart, everyone was vying to make the new Wilde movie. A woman in a position of power with great influence. I can't wait for the narrative to bring her down a peg. No one gets to feel good about what happened with this movie.
Not a single person.
Not a single person gets to be happy about this. So there is a script by Shane and Carrie Van Dyke, well before Wilde's involvement, and they have previously written absolutely terrible films, including a lot of mockbusters like Transmorphers 2, Paranormal Entity, Titanic 2, and The Day the Earth Stopped.
Wait, Titanic 2?
Yeah, they wrote Titanic 2. It's like this really cheesy asylum movie that's just, yeah.
I'm watching
Titanic
it later.
2. Yeah, you have to watch that. It reminds me of that thing about how like American newscasters would say, this is like a real life Titanic. Oh dear, American education system. It wasn't just mockbusters though. They did break away and write some highly original movies like Battle Dogs, in which a werewolf virus hits New York, prompting a general to raise an army of dogs to fight them. I haven't seen it, but I really hope it's just like domestic house dogs.
Yeah, me too. I hope it's just like there's just like a chihuahua, like
go for the neck.
Just like a really docile golden retriever, just slopping all over them, like.
It's a literal underdog story.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you suck.
I suck so much. How am I still allowed to do this?
I don't
Why doesn't
know.
anyone stop me? I think I may have found the weak link in the production history of Don't Worry Darling. Because it gets rewritten by Katie Silberman, and maybe it's all her fault. You know, what's she done? She's Booksmart. Okay, cool. And Set It Up and Isn't It Romantic, both of which are well reviewed.
Yeah, I like Set It Up. I haven't seen it. Isn't it romantic? But I like Set It Up. It's if you're into like, you know, hour and a half long Netflix rom-coms, you are.
I am.
Just that's it's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's what I want for the writer of this high concept.
Yeah, exactly.
If anyone's going to save this from the writers of Transmorphers 2,
someone who made a fine Netflix rom-com.
A fine-ass Netflix rom-com. And then the controversies start because twist, Shia LaBeouf was involved.
I know, that's why I said it.
Oh no, but he's Shia LaBeouf, so it doesn't.
I love him so much.
It didn't work out though. You love him like a firework. Like it's not going to be a long-term relationship.
I saw him at Paddington Station once, and it was the best moment of my entire life. I was like, what? Shy, and he turned round, and then he just like walked off, but like kind of still looking.
Oh my god!
I know, it was the best.
That's so intense. That's the most intense thing you could do. He just backed away from you. Oh my god. There's also the high-profile coupling I've written, which sounds vaguely anthropological. There is the coupling of director Wilde with male lead Harry Styles. Oh my god, Why did I write this so creepy? With male lead, the female and the male coupled during this production.
I am sorry. As you said coupling, I didn't think of that. All I thought of was like the 90s sitcom.
Oh yeah, there's coupling star Harry Styles is in this, I assume. And then during a Comic-Con appearance promoting the film, Wilde was handed custody documents from her ex, Jason Sudeikis. And there were rumours regarding a massive falling out between Wilde and lead actor Florence Pugh. Oh, and Chris Pine's bizarre behaviour at the Venice premiere, in which he seemed to be whacked out of his gourd. Styles possibly spitting on Pine at the premiere. There was very divisive footage. And, of course, the press interviews in which Styles said that his favourite thing about the movie is that it really feels like a movie.
Oh, that was excellent. Yeah,
that was very
really good.
So this was a very entertaining movie before it came out.
Also, didn't Florence Pugh not appear at the premieres?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, she really scaled back her appearance in the publicity for the film, which may have been her filming Dune 2, which, to be fair, is a good excuse to get out of literally anything.
Yeah, I mean, she turned up to the premiere of The Wonder and, like, watched it with us, so...
Oh, yeah, she watched it with us. Yeah, that's fair. She does. When she likes the movie, she shows up. Oh, God. She watched it with us. That was crazy.
Not like on a sofa with us, not with like me and Paul.
But she was like 10 rows behind.
Yeah.
And was the best. She was the best the whole time. We could feel it from behind us.
Feel it radiating.
Yeah. She was wearing that giant pink dress. She was the best. But yeah, there's something very pleasingly old Hollywood. I remember someone on Twitter just being like, so the director's sleeping with the lead actor and, all of this stuff's going on and the guys hated each other and there were screaming matches on set. Maybe Hollywood's back.
I wish they'd recorded it. Like, somebody had recorded it to do Don't Worry Darling, like back, like kind of like The Room, but like the disaster artist of The Room.
Yeah, like the Heart of Darkness for Don't Worry Darling. Amazing. Now, all of this might just be publicity, but if so, it's not great to exploit public interest in a toxic work environment to publicize your movie, but I do doubt it. I can't see Wilde throwing away her reputation just for headlines.
No.
To be honest, it does all smack of undue attention from a hostile media. If you were to subject any film production to similar attention, would you not find that Harry Styles is sleeping with someone on its set? Probably. It's just a lot of hearsay, personal business, and minor things that are blown up by the internet, including it in this intro. So I'm part of the problem, folks.
You are.
Why haven't I been stopped?
I've tried, but I just got sucked in instead.
Oh no, that's how it works. That's how the system works, and now you're in my weird AI simulation.
I tried, and instead we made a podcast about Macbeth and the Saw movies, so...
The natural thing to do during a pandemic.
Not one podcast. That would be weird.
God.
Just like where half of it's about Macbeth and half of it's about Saw.
the Scottish Saw. Where we reframe Saw in the context. A Macbeth adaptation that's also a Saw movie. Hello, Duncan.
I want to play a game. Who's going to become the next King of Scotland?
But, did it affect the reception of the movie? Well... Scott Tobias at the reveal said, "It takes a while for Don't Worry Darling to reveal itself as abysmal, because it spends so much of its grueling time being merely pedestrian."
Merely pedestrian.
Merely pedestrian.
So you didn't need that merely. That's what pedestrian means. Like, you didn't make it any more...
Yeah, you see?
Like, it was so pedestrian. Like, really, it only means one thing.
And this is why I need you to start proofreading my reviews, because I need that. I would definitely write merely pedestrian, because I'm a chump. But I love that. It was so boring, I couldn't tell how bad it was.
I came out being like, was that bad? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. That's actually kind of what we said when we came out.
Yes, there was a lot of uncertainty in the crowd when we came out, including my favourite comment ever, which I wish I'd heard the beginning of, was the two teenage girls who came out. And one of them was just in the process of saying, honestly, it was even better than when he had her out. What? What was? The dance? Was it the dance? It might have been the dance.
Oh my God, that was so bad. But we'll get to that.
We'll get to the dance. Public, meanwhile, we're on a perpetual honeymoon. Didn't practice that. Zaria Kimvelikani, on Google said, "I was not disappointed. 5 exclamation marks. I love watching a movie that would have me on my feet, and this right here. I love how Jack and Alice love each other. At first it was a bit confusing, but towards the middle and end, no doubt that Jack was all over heels with Alice." Yeah.
Wow, that was an excellent review. I especially like the bit where she said she was on her feet, because I wanted to get on my feet to leave.
This movie had me on my feet and bike.
And out the door and on the tube and in my bed at home.
That's where this movie had me. At least the film managed to piss off Jordan Patterson. So, there's always that. The film has 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, 48% on Metacritic, 6.2 on IMDb, and 72% on Google. The lowest Google score I've ever seen, because that website is crazy.
That is crazy. That is so
Nothing
weird.
gets under 70. Nothing. It did, however, make $86.7 million on a $35 million budget, and so probably made a little profit.
A little tiny profit.
Just a little. The general rule is, if you want to know how much publicity cost, it's the production budget again. So 35 twice, you got 70 and it made 86. Florence Pugh probably got, enough to wear an excellent dress to the wonder. Now, one thing is different about this episode, which is that we saw it together in cinemas in September, only 2 months ago. Can you actually believe that?
No, I can't. It feels like last year.
That was when we saw that, it was before I started my master's and it was before the film festival. And that was 2 months ago. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't seen it since, and neither of you. So this is going to be based on some very hazy pre-film course, pre-master's memories.
Yeah, I'm not watching that shit again. Sorry.
Not for anyone.
Not for you, not for anyone.
So, Katie, you stupid man. I read that in the quotes. I can't remember who says it to who. I think it's when, spoilers, Gemma Chan kills Chris Pine.
Oh.
I imagine she says it like that. You stupid man.
Maybe, yeah. It rings a bell.
I think so. What do you remember about Don't Worry, Darling?
I remember one good scene.
Ooh, let's have that.
Do you remember there was a scene right near the beginning when all of the main characters gather at Chris Pine's house, who is the main guy, the boss.
He's like running.
Yeah, he's running the show. And they have a party, and Chris Pine and his wife have these weird children, these like really docile children who are serving, like being waiters at this party. And Florence Pugh and Olivia Wilde are standing there, and they comment on how weird the children was, and it was a really funny line. I was like, that was a funny interaction. I enjoyed it.
Okay, good.
That was a joke.
Because the explanation for the kids, I guess, is that, well, we'll come to it in spoilers, but I guess they're not really here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, we're in America in the 1950s.
Well, it's like you don't know it's the 1950s, but it looks like the 1950s.
Yeah, it looks 50s-ish.
Yeah.
And there's an idyllic little community with idyllic little Harry Styles in bed with his wife, Florence Pugh. And they wake up and they have a chat about the mysterious work that he does that causes loud rumbling throughout the community. More on that, never.
Yeah, that's literally it.
That's literally it for the rumbling.
He does some work, there's some rumbling, and we're all like, oh, okay, that's going to get come back to. No,
yeah.
Absolutely not.
Oh, I'm calling it right now. Giant Cthulhu-like creature lives beneath the ground.
And that could still be true because we never get an explanation.
Maybe that was the next level they were designing. Spoilers. He and the other men drive off to work. They're in the middle of the desert, by the way, this little town. So they drive off into the desert, leaving their wives to gossip and do housework, which they all love, I guess, until it gets spooky, which it does.
And she even changes outfits like 3 times in that first day.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And who have we got in the housewives? We've got Florence Pugh, we've got Olivia Wilde as a neighbour, and Mrs. Nick Kroll. I don't think, do we have any others? Because Gemma Chan's not about. She's like next tier 50s housewife.
Yeah, she's
so
Chris Pine's wife.
Yeah.
And
she's not available for hang.
And then they've got like other friends. Well, they've got that one other friend who I can't remember the name of the actress. And then they've got like another next door neighbour who is Margaret, and she is spiraling.
Yeah, Kiki Lane. Yeah, she's not doing too well. But Pugh makes dinner, which thoroughly does not get eaten because Harry Styles is busy eating something else.
Silence from both of us.
Yeah. And in a sequence that Olivia Wilde says was a rare chance to portray female pleasure on screen, which is a wild thing to think about when you know what the twist is.
A wild thing?
Oh! I didn't even do that on purpose. I mean, this movie is a wild movie in many different senses. So I think then we get the next day and the women go to the mall where they talk about Kiki Lane, who was formerly Dakota Johnson in an earlier draft before she got busy with...
not being in this movie. not being in this terrible movie.
I'm going to be in June 2. Bye.
I'm going to be in anything else. Though I feel like Dakota Johnson would have actually played this really well because she is so good at playing crazy people. Like, that's her like number one thing that she's good at.
Yes, and also there is implication by making the crazy gaslit lady black, which maybe needed to be explored in like a different thing.
Yeah.
Potentially. But yes, Dakota Johnson I think was busy doing what's the one, The Lost Daughter? Where
yes.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no.
Olivia Wilde and such.
She in that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she is.
The,
She is
the
great.
sort
in
of
that.
mob
Yeah,
wife
yeah.
chick. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she's being ostracized just because, she took her kid out in the desert and maybe killed him. But come on. What do you know what this is really about? Then they go to a house party hosted by Chris Pine with his docile kids. And Kiki Lane's acting all weird and intense and getting drugged by men. So it's kind of awkward. But all of that puts Pew in the mood. So, and at some point before this, they did have sex in a car in the desert. But they go in for some over-the-clothes hand and mouth stuff in Pine's bedroom. But Pine's watching! And Pew doesn't mind it. But she don't show it anyway. Sometime after that, it's so weird. This just comes like really episodically. Sometime after that, she's riding a trolley to the shops, which for some reason goes via the edge of the desert.
Yeah, I don't know why that does. Like, why are they taking this like really massive like detour towards the edge of the desert when they're not allowed to go at the edge of the desert?
Yeah, well, did she stay on because she's already starting to get like Truman Show vibes? Yeah. So it's like, and they just the terminus of the bus route is the desert. And yeah, there's a plane crash. More on that never.
Yeah, there's a plane crash. We were like, oh, mysterious. We're gonna see the plane. No, we don't see the plane again. We don't get an explanation.
Yeah. No, she rushes out to try and like help the crashee, but just finds this weird lighthouse thing that when she touches it makes her see Busby Berkeley dancers, and then she just wakes up later.
Yep.
Must have been a dream.
Yeah.
That incredibly vivid experience you just
Harry
had.
Styles, says, oh, you must have had a terrible, terrible dream. I'll make dinner. And she's like, you know how to make dinner. You're a man.
You're a man.
How dare you?
Wait, does that mean I have to give you all sex instead of eating it? I don't know how dinner works. Neither of you know how dinner works. Then there's just assorted weird stuff, like little visions and the wall moving in and trapping her against the glass and a bit where she wraps her head in cling film, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and like
spooky business.
She's in like a ballet class and some spooky stuff happens. That kind of you can kind of imagine it as
you can kind of imagine the spooky stuff that might happen. You've seen stuff like this.
You've seen Suspiria, which is 5,000 times better than this.
Oh my god, I love Suspiria so much. That's where Dakota Johnson went.
Yeah, she went back in time to make Suspiria again because she didn't want to be in this movie.
Because she loved it so much and just wanted to be close to Tilda Swinton. So yeah, eventually Kiki Lane cuts her own throat and jumps off the roof. And some guys in red jumpsuits take her. You remember Us? It's like Us.
I mean, they had the outfits left over, so they were...
I don't know what to tell you. Ted is with her at the hospital right now. He said she needs a few stitches. She slipped cleaning the window. It was an accident.
Nope, I saw her. She cut herself.
You had a bad night.
Don't.
You weren't feeling
No.
it. She fell, and you
No.
imagine the worst
Don't
case
do that.
scenario.
She slit her throat.
It's crazy.
Jack, I saw it happen. She cut herself open. There was blood everywhere. It's not just a few stitches.
Please don't get hysterical.
Jack says that what she actually did was she fell whilst cleaning windows. Oh, my husband gaslit me all day. My son has sadly gone away. You'll be next to see ballet when I'm cleaning windows.
I'm going to cut that bit out and make it my ringtone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you won't leave it in the episode.
But just for you. Like, it's just every time you call, it's just going to be that. I bet, that's just my best friend calling. Yeah, he's a really serious film critic.
Oh, that's Paul calling. You can leave that.
Just let it ring.
At least it'll incentivize you to answer the phone quickly. Oh god, it's not ballet. It's Busby Berkeley dancing, like I said earlier. But if anyone doesn't appreciate that, they're probably not going to get the George Fornby reference. So, quick, do something that Gen Zers will like.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Make a TikTok.
Yeah, let's make a TikTok.
I don't have TikTok.
Oh no, let's find out. Let's Google how to do TikTok.
The rest of this episode is us trying to make a TikTok.
It's an inspirational story.
33 and 34-year-olds make a TikTok.
It's just like Zach and Miri make a porno. It's just Casey and Paul do a TikTok. It's a hilarious comedy of errors. So, the town doctor comes and visits to confirm that Kiki Lane was mental and you shouldn't worry about it. Also, so are you. Oh. So, calm down, take these drugs, and don't go looking around in my bag. But she mixes up those instructions and does the one thing she was told not to do.
Oh, I hate it when in a movie, like it's like, I wish he would leave his bag there so she could root through it. Oh, he's accidentally left his bag there. And it's like, come the fuck on, don't worry, darling. Like, the doctor isn't just going to accidentally leave his bag there. It's so stupid.
Unless they work for the NHS, in which case they might.
Yeah.
If it was on
Hashtag
a
strike.
Olivia Wilde apparently also confronts her in the bathroom in a scene that I can't remember, but Red is in the movie.
Oh yeah, I remember it. Like they're at
Okay.
But this is when they're at the party with the dancing.
Oh, that's why I don't remember it. That's right.
You blanked out that entire scene.
I was somewhat distracted. There's a big dinner going on that Frank's going to be in. It's going to be a big promotion for Harry Styles.
Yay!
And yeah, he does an amazing dance, which I well, certainly a memorable dance. And Wilde confronts Pugh in the bathroom.
Yeah.
At some stage, Pine gives Pugh like a little nudge. I know something's wrong. I'm a bad guy kind of moment.
Yeah.
And that leads to her confronting him at an awkward dinner party at their house.
Yeah, so Pugh kind of puts on this show for Harry Styles that she's feeling better and that she's going to throw this, like, dinner. So she throws dinner and everyone turns up apart from Olivia Wilde and her husband because they're on the outs.
Because genuinely because she's busy directing it and wanted to... That's what she said. She said she wanted to focus on directing that scene.
I mean, okay then. And yeah, so there's this awkward dinner party and Pugh confronts him with all these like weird kind of coincidences. Like, for example, all of the couples met the same way.
Violet, where did you meet Bill?
We met on a train.
To Boston. Yeah.
Cute. Yes.
You dropped your ticket, and he bent down, picked it up, gave it to you, right? It is, yeah. That's how Margaret met Ted. And Peg, am I right in thinking that that's how Debbie McIntyre met her husband? Yes, I am. That's how they met.
Yes, that's true. I'm jealous, honestly. It's such a sweet story. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that funny the way it's coincidence?
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. There are only so many different stories that we're told. We're told what we remember. Until we try to remember things that they want us to forget.
Like, oh, it's a funny story. I dropped my train ticket and he picked it up for me. A train from New York to Chicago.
That's
that's
so
like
noticeable.
the same story. Like, every couple had the same meet cute. And it's like, if you're going to have a meet cute, can you not, like, you know, like mix it up? Like, have one where, like, somebody, I don't know, needs a tissue or something. It's not difficult. I just made up a meet cute. There you go. I've got the sniffles. Someone hands me a tissue.
That's hilarious that when you know the truth of what's happening here, that the devs were so fucking lazy they couldn't write more than one meet cute for everyone. We were up against it. There was something wrong with there was a weird plane that kept crashing in the desert. We were trying to patch that out and we just didn't have time to write backstories of everyone's relationship.
Oh, that's fucking Python for you. I don't know why this is written in Python.
Why is this written in Python?
I don't know.
That's so old.
It's so old. I was going to go sequel,
so...
but sequel's pissing me off at the moment.
No, fuck sequel. But I just love the idea. Yeah, looking at Chris Pine, he would write this in Python. Still the best, most accessible one.
That's some coding jokes for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway, yes, there's this big dinner. Yeah, so Chris Pine, he manages to gaslight her.
Delusions, memory problems, hysteria. We saw these issues with Margaret and know that it's completely curable. Dr. Collins prescribed you a suite of medications which you were clearly not taking. The question is why?
He's lying to us. He's lying to all of us.
Alice, Bunny, your best friend, is worried about you. She thinks that you need help. Is that why she's not here tonight? Because you didn't want to be reminded.
He's using you. He's using all of us. Do you even know what the Victory Project actually is? Have you ever asked?
Do you? Is that why you went out there?
Styles looks like he's going to try and get her out, but actually she ends up just asylumed by the red coat people. Asylumed. She gets some electroshock therapy and sees another life in which she's a nurse who loves her
Doctor, how dare you?
Excuse me. Oh my god. I feel like that's not the first time I've done that. I'm a
suck.
terrible man. The doctor was the mother, and I didn't get it because I'm a bad man.
Yes, there is that riddle. But yeah, Florence Pugh is a doctor. I think she's even like a surgeon.
Yeah, I think she is.
How dare you? I've been watching House, and now I hate you.
I'm literally Chris Pine of all of this.
Oh my god, it is. Hi. How are you, Chris?
Oh my god, hey. I'm fine, but Harry Styles keeps spitting on me like it's still happening.
Every morning I wake up and he's there.
Every time I try to keep him out and he's doing his sad face from the movie. And the dance at the same time. So, yeah, she's a surgeon, excuse me. and she is somehow married to an incel type, sort of basement YouTube watching Harry Styles.
He's basically, I think he lost his job, right? You know, and he can't get another one, so he like spirals and just listens to Joe Rogan, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, not actually Joe Rogan, but like, you know, this kind of like
Chris Pine's Joe Rogan.
Manly podcasts where, you know, the presenter only eats pure meat that he, you know, foraged himself. Yeah. Foraged, that's not the right word. Hunted. I'm a vegetarian, I don't know what you do.
Yeah, we go to the woods and we find meat. I need you to believe that's how it works, because
awkward.
Yes, she goes back into the simulation and goes home, seemingly fixed, but then unfortunately, Styles just can't help whistling one of his own songs, and the sheer power of the music of One Direction makes her remember the whole truth. That she's in the Matrix, but dumber. Yes, her incel boyfriend, who has no money, somehow signed up for the Patterson / Rogan treatment, because he's selling terrible men the means of trapping their girlfriends in an artificial dream world where they'll be completely distracted from realizing the truth by the lives that they weren't willing to accept in the real world.
Yeah.
And didn't really accept in history either. So it's a brilliant, flawless plan.
Yeah, so basically, he kind of not kidnaps her because they're in their own house, but like gives her this, wires her into like while she's asleep.
Yeah, they're in like a tent in the bed.
Yeah.
And he has to get up each day to, I don't know, go work in his Amazon workshop warehouse or whatever in order to pay off the debt. He's got to be doing something good in order to pay off the cost of running this artificial simulation and keeping a human being illegally bound to their bed.
Yeah, my impression was that maybe, this is just like what I thought, is that he's actually working for the company, like they all are. So they're keeping it running.
Okay, they're running their own simulation. That's why it sucks.
Yeah.
That's why the weird shit keeps happening.
I don't know if that's
Harry
real
Styles
or not, but that's just like, it would make sense. In fact, it would make more sense if they just said that happened.
Yeah. They're all programming their own dream world.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be really good.
There's one who really likes planes.
You could do that because, like, she could mention in confidence to him, like, oh, there was this weird thing at the bus stop, and then the next day she goes to the bus stop and it's not there, like he's patched it out while she was asleep.
Yeah. Just like, oh, I've got to get that patch in.
Shit. Didn't think she'd notice that. Gotta stop being so lazy with my coding.
Gotta stop taking so many coffee breaks.
Styles does his second big acting moment of the movie, and he yells, doing his sad cat face.
You don't get to take that from me! I gave this to you! I gave you all of this, Alice! We are lucky to be here!
I gave you everything! Very good.
Good face.
He tries to confront her, but then tries to kill her instead, and then is actually killed by her. Oh no, is it too late to pivot back to comforting you? I feel like that had better chances now. Oh, and also, if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life. Why was it designed that way?
Yeah, I don't actually understand that. Like, how does that even work? I mean, obviously, in the Matrix, it's not like it works. But in this, it seems even dumber. Like,
yeah.
it doesn't seem that dumb in the Matrix. In the Matrix, I was like, oh, okay, I believe that. But in this, it's like, this is a simulation.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. You're basically in VR, like high-level VR.
Yeah,
it's not like if I die doing VR, like with an Oculus headset on, I die in real life.
My God.
That would make it really high stakes.
That would not sell many units, I feel like.
Or like it would sell loads of units.
Oh my God. We are such a jaded society. And so is this one, because Pine finds out that Pew is messing up again. Why not just kick them both out at this stage?
Yeah, just unplug them.
Yeah, just be like, okay, we're going to run you in your own simulation where it's just the two of you, and you can try and make that work. So, but he orders everyone to do a chase scene, but then gets killed by Gemma-chan, who's been here the whole time. We haven't mentioned her much, but
she's his wife, and she's like, I think she's part of it, right? And she knew all along, and like,
she says something like, now it's my time.
Yeah, so implying that she's going to be the boss
Man.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be the boss of this land now, I guess, and I don't know what that's going to mean, but it's potentially a more interesting story than what we're getting. Nevertheless.
Don't worry, Darling 2 coming to cinemas.
Gemma-chan time. Oh God. Olivia Wilde catches up with Florence Pugh just in order to slow her down and running away to tell her some important things about the Matrix. She knew the whole time.
Yep.
And she didn't leave because she wants to be with her children who are dead in real life.
Yep.
You know, the ones that she ignored all the way through the movie.
Yeah, so like the children, any children that are in the simulation are fake children.
Yeah.
I don't know about, I had doubts about Chris Pine's children and whether or not they were actually real, because like his whole family's in it. But they could maybe be real, but all the other children are fake. So like the one who got killed, like the kid with the airplane who got killed, is also fake, I assume.
Yes, and was apparently taken away to punish Gemma Chan. Not Gemma Chan, Kiki Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you die in this world, you die in real life. But if you have kids in this world, you don't have kids in real life. Anyway, get to the glass house. If you get there, you'll be able to leave, and there's nothing that the admins running this simulation can do about it. They can't just turn off the lighthouse or like take that acid away.
No, because they're all like in the simulation right now. They only work during the day. Office hours.
Oh shit! Everyone who works on this is in here. We've run this so badly. Damn it, Nick Kroll.
We don't have like a. You know how like this is a bit of a weird comparison, but you know how Facebook has like an office in Dublin for Europe, but it also runs like all of Europe. So even the places that are like really far away from it in Europe. Oh, yeah, and there's like one guy who speaks like Burmese in that whole thing. So like when you post something in like Myanmar, it doesn't get picked up for like 8 hours until this one guy wakes up.
This guy wakes up. That's amazing.
So it could like have started a riot already.
So the guy who could turn off the lighthouse is just his Nick Kroll, and he's in here. So
yeah, he works in Dublin, and he only works office hours.
But yes, just don't worry about it. Don't worry, darling. Oh, is that why it's called that?
It was you saying that to me, like halfway through the movie. Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling. It's crazy. This is crazy. Try and relax. So there's a chase in the desert, which is quite silly, and then she gets to the lighthouse. And there's a vision of Harry Styles that urges her to stay, and ooh, this could go either way. But in a dramatic twist, she decides not to remain in the weird sex prison. So glad she did that. And that's don't worry, darling.
Yeah,
should have been worried the
so
whole
she
time.
like puts her hand up against the glass thing, and then it cuts to black, but then you hear her gasp, which indicates that she has woken up in real life. Yeah. But what I would love...
because that room is going to smell bad.
It's going to smell so bad. Unless, like, Harry Styles washes her every day. I don't know.
Oh my god, is that part of where he goes each day?
To, like, give her a sponge bath.
You think the last thing you'd want to do when he comes back is just, like, be around Florence Pugh and he spent the whole day, like, cleaning up her comatose body? This is such a grim
It's just ridiculous.
premise.
I would love, like, to have had, like, a post-credit sequence where she like goes to the authorities and explains why Harry Styles is dead. Because obviously she's now lying next to his dead body because you die in the Matrix, die in real life, and I would love it to be like, so he actually tricked me into going to the simulation run by this podcast, and I got out of it by like smashing his head, but he actually dies. If you die in there, you die in real life. Weird. I don't know what it's called, and I don't know how you can find them, but like, can you like remove his body from me? Thanks. I need to go back to being a doctor.
I need to go back to being the best surgeon in this game. And then they don't believe her and they gaslight her. Oh no, it was society that was the problem. The whole And you should have been worried about that.
Do worry, darling.
Do worry, darling, about society. Well, that was crazy. But you know what else is crazy? That we're sponsored now. Let's have a word about our sponsors, featuring Paul Goodman.
Episode 300 is well within our sights. Ring, 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 ring. Oh my god, the sponsorship phone that we installed in episode 1.
What? Oh, fuck!
Hello?
What do they say?
We're sponsored by Manscaped.
What?
I know!
Fantastic.
Isn't that amazing? God, I've been rejecting all forms of hairy balls since I was about 18.
It's really been a way of life for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I have a very poor attention span and memory.
It's been an incredible journey from tweezering them out one by one. That was if you go with the grain, it's not as painful as it looks. This is probably not the
fool's errand, sir.
Image that they want to be associated with. Nevertheless, it's what I did, and it was great. Sometimes the follicle will come out too. This is horrible. So,
well, I was a beard trimmers or hair clippers, depending on how poor I was and what I had access to, and it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I like to be smooth and hairless down there, Paul, but I didn't appreciate bleeding all over the bathroom.
It's a gentleman's luxury, having clean-shaven balls that are also not bleeding all over the bathroom. If only there was something we could do about it.
Well, if it stops you screaming, Paul, fortunately, Manscaped are here. To provide the non-bathroom entirely covered in blood solution. TM, which is to say they're the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. All their products are precision-engineered tools for the family jewels. Mine, yours, and all the fools. Well, if you want to know why over 7 million men around the world are laughing their faces off with smooth balls...
I do.
Well, good, because Manscaped have this exclusive offer for you. You too can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code OGTPOD at manscaped.com.
I tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get the Performance Package 4.0, because that is what has been sent out to us by the lovely people at Manscaped. Women can use it too! That's what they say.
You know.
It's not like Yorkie, where they will actually come and take the chocolate bar out of your hands if you try and buy it and you're not a bloke. Any gender can use it, in fact. It's an entirely flexible product. Yeah. And if you get the Performance Package 4.0, what you're going to get is the Lawnmower 4.0. It's waterproof and has a 4000K LED spotlight so that you can get right in there.
I used it in the bathroom mirror. It was like sniping the hair off my balls with an electric trimmer.
With an electric trimmer. Speaking of trimmers, mate, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer has a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Well, that's not going to be waterproof as well.
Well, no, surely not.
Oh, it fucking well is, mate.
What?
It actually is. Do it in the bath. Do it in the bath.
Do it in the bath. Do it in the shower. Do it in the British summer. Yeah, I whacked that right up my nose. And I tell you what, Paul. That was buzzing for quite a while. There was a lot up there.
Oh, it's been a while since your last clean out. You also get the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. This is all of it's in the Performance Package 4.0. The Crop Reviver Toner, the Performance Boxer Briefs, and a travel bag to put it all in and go around town shaving yourself all over city.
Swing it around over your head if you want. Just don't hit anyone.
Oh no, this is sounding really good now, but I've forgotten how to get involved.
Well, Paul, it's a good thing I'm wearing my Performance Boxer Briefs today because I am anti-chafe. And all business.
Yeah.
So once again, if you want to be laughing your head off like all those smoothball gentlemen around the world, go over to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code OGTPOD.
Manscaped. To a better bally tomorrow.
So why doesn't this work? What's going on here?
I think we just explained that for the last half an hour.
I feel like we've just covered that.
It doesn't work because the acting is bad.
Oh, I like Pew,
but
she's in service of a bad script.
Of course.
Pew is good, but yes, everyone else, even the people who are talented performers, is putting in a real sleepwalky performance, including Wilde herself.
Yeah.
Who is being directed by her.
Who is a good actress in some
they
stuff.
They are literally sleepwalking, but there's just something about it, the performances, and her in particular, that felt very contrived. It was meant to be the sort of cool mom style character that just didn't feel very natural. And then when you know that they're all living inside of a sexist sort of prison thing, it's just a really bizarre choice to make.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of convinced me to see this movie was that Florence Pugh was in it. Like, if it had been any other actress, you probably would not have got me to see this movie. And the fact that they had her was their saving grace, because she was actually good. But like you said, she's there's a script which makes no sense.
Oh, the script is terrible. I think it's the weakest link here. It's just... It makes no sense. The twist is baffling. It's in no way suggested beforehand. It's total Serenity starring Matthew McConaughey in that respect.
I knew you were going to bring that up. You love bringing that up. Did you do an episode on that? You did, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah. See that episode.
Because it's the wildest shit, that whole thing. And it's exactly the same here. There's nothing to suggest this is a video game or some sort of VR reality.
Yeah.
Like, there are coders you could put in or little suggestions as to it, but...
Like, she has these flashes. She has these, like,
yeah,
flashes of weird things happening to her. And I said to you when we came out, if they had taken all that away and made those flashes flashbacks to her actual life, it would have made so much more sense.
Why the Bugsby dancing stuff?
Why dancing? Why walls moving towards her? Why not flashes of a hospital where she's working? Like, surgery, like, flashes to the modern world? Because then... you can kind of have it be, okay, there is something going on for the whole thing, as opposed to, like, it's sci-fi fantasy.
And little hints, like, have her know a weirdly large amount about surgery and the human body.
Yeah, have someone, like, sprain their ankle and her be like, oh, I know how to, like, deal with this.
Yeah, and then she doesn't know why she knows that. Like... Because one thing that I did think is, because we get the reveal that she was a nurse in the real world before
oh my god, you suck. She's a doctor.
Oh no! My god! What is wrong with me, actually?
You are the sexiest?
Most sexiest sexist.
Sexiest sexist around. The sexiest sexist on this podcast.
Talk about coming up against your own unconscious biases. Jesus.
We're going to have a talk after this is over.
We're going to have a long talk about this.
There's going to be diagrams. I don't know what they're going to be of, but they're just going to be there.
That's fine. I'm ready for diagrams.
I'm going to make a PowerPoint.
About why you suck.
About why you suck so much.
It's quite short, but it actually lasts a long time. Because of the evidence slides. When she's getting flashbacks to being a surgeon, like I remember thinking, oh, okay, so it's the village.
Yeah.
Like they've set up a 50s community in the middle of the desert, and you're not allowed to leave because if you do, you'll see that society exists right outside.
Which kind of make more sense. By the way, spoiler for M. Night Shyamalan's The Village.
Oh yes, if you haven't seen it, and also Serenity. We're doing a lot of spoilers at the moment, but yeah, like that would have made sense, and it's just wild that it's a video game. I remember
it's not a video game though.
Stage...
Nobody's controlling it. A video game implies that somebody's controlling it. It's a simulation. So they're still making their own choices within the kind of VR, as if you were in like a high level VR, basically.
Yeah, and you can see what they're going for. They're going for this sort of the literalization of the metaphor here, which was that the 50s idyllic American society was a construct intended to keep women trapped. That's fair enough, so that men would grow up to be just awful and sexist and call all of them nurses no matter what they do. So that's fine, that makes sense. You're like literalizing the metaphor there. Great, but the 1950s being deceptively idyllic and that women didn't have a good time in it, it's not exactly a whole new take.
No.
And there's a little bit of drawing it into modern sexism and like you say, the horrible Joe Rogan sort of podcasting kind of thing, but that is contained to this one small section. And it's not I don't know if it necessarily tracks, like, is Frank within the simulation? Because Chris Pine, oh my god, his performance in this.
And Chris Pine is an attractive man. Yeah. And in this, I felt disgusted by him.
But, like, not even in the way you're meant to be doing. Like, was he necessarily the sort of, like, if you picked up Jordan Peterson and plopped him in the 50s, this is what he would have been like kind of guy? Or was he just this kind of magnanimous leader who didn't say much?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was supposed to be kind of like how his wife was, like, the brains behind the operation. And he is just this kind of figurehead. And he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, every time he gives a speech, it seems like those men who give speeches and have no idea, like, what they're on about. They use metaphors and stuff. And you're just there like, yeah, cool. Like, you're getting paid 7 times more than I am. Let's just wrap this up.
Yeah. Well, we have recently seen a better example of a... what's his name? Jordan Patterson.
Jordan Peterson, you got it right.
Peterson. Oh, good. Okay. We had a more recent example of a guy modelling a performance after him. Do you remember?
Oh, Knives Out 2.
Yes, Knives Out 2, Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista is basically either Jordan Peterson or Joe Rogan. I mean, he looks even more like Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan is, like, beefy.
But it's so perfect because, like, all the way through that, everybody on Twitter is just saying Knives Out 2 could not have been released at a better time than right now. Like, just, it's so perfect in terms of what it has to say about masculinity.
Yeah.
And but it's great because that character is like, he's introduced, he's this big guy, and then just immediately he is undermined behind the scenes by his mum, by his girlfriend, and by his boss, just all of it. And it's just, but as a character, he makes sense. Like, you get him and what he's all about. Whereas with this enigmatic Frank character, and then Pugh is great, but she's basically just doing horror movie heroine stuff of just, what's going on? Why is nobody believing me? Running around getting desperate and sad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting really sick of gaslight narratives. Like, I know this is a big sticking point because our society gaslights women in particular all the time. But I've always been really wearied by horror movies where the main character has to convince everyone else that something's going on. Like, I'm always way more excited by movies where they're just like, okay, let's do it. Like, what's her name? Gillian in Oculus.
Karen Gillan.
You can see why I got Gillian. Karen Gillan in Oculus, where she's just like, no, this thing's haunted and we're going to prove it now.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I love that. I love a movie where, and even in, like, Nope, how quickly the two of them are just like, yeah, there's ghosts, there's aliens. Yeah. Let's sort it out.
Yeah. And this is a bad example. Not a bad example. This is a really weird out there example. But in Baywatch, have you ever seen episodes of Baywatch?
I'm aware.
Yeah,
of
so Baywatch has like this weird supernatural elements. I don't know if anyone's
I've heard
how there's like ghosts and stuff, and all of them are just fine with it. They're like, this one chick sees a ghost. She's like, yeah, this ghost turned up in my hotel room, and all the other lifeguards are like, so what does the ghost want? It's not like you're a crazy person. Like,
that's amazing.
It's like, yeah, let's just figure this ghost shit out. Like, I love that.
That reminds me of a Cheetah Pong Verisa Fakul's Uncle Boonme Who Can Recall His Past Lives, where like Western critics said people aren't going to get on okay with this movie because a spirit of a dead ancestor shows up and everybody's just like, oh hey.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see that kind of play out because I mean, how quick early on this morning, Mum came into the thing and said, you know, I just found the kitchen door open and the radio was on to like this weird detuned channel, and immediately I was just like, oh, so it's a ghost.
As opposed to an
intruder
in
my life.
Yeah.
An intruder who's trying to get his radio station. But immediately I had to be like, okay, what do we do? Yeah, because I feel like in real life, if something weird happened to you, you would stretch your suspension of disbelief quite quickly.
So that I do my other podcast with my friend Dan, who fully believes in ghosts. And I do not.
Wow.
And that sometimes we talk about ghosts in terms of like history, sometimes there's ghost stuff. And he has like particular stories where I have no explanation for what he went through, but I don't gaslight him. I don't be like, oh, you're a crazy person, don't think about that. I'm like, you believe what you believe, it's fine. I'm not going to like try and rationalize it. But in this, it would have been really good if there had been another character that Florence Pugh turned to and they were like, okay, let's talk about this, as opposed to every single person, including her friends, who aren't in this, who are also stuck in the simulation, some of them.
Yeah.
So obviously...
Have it be Kiki Lane. Have Kiki Lane be less just out there crazy and have her just have enough, you know, consciousness and like awareness in order to actually participate with Pugh. And then that would be interesting. That would be one of those stories of just like, the friend is already seeing the ghosts, and then our main character has to come on board and sort of be like, okay, I see them too, what do we do?
Yeah, and then you could have like later on down the line, you could have Kiki Lane going crazy and throwing herself off the roof, and then that's what flips Florence Pugh's switch into like this, right, I'm gonna confront Chris Pine. I think I've told you this, like after we saw Smile, I reminded you that like my policy is if someone comes up to me and it's like, hey, I'm in a horror movie, I need you to believe me. I might not believe you, but I will do whatever it takes to, like, if we need to go, like, to a library and investigate where the ghost is from and then you confront the family or whatever, you know, the horror movie stuff, I'll be there for that. I'm going to create this scenario. Like, sometime next year, you're not going to know where it is, but I'm going to come up to you and be like, I'm in a horror movie. We need to go to the BL and investigate this ghost and see how you actually react. I'm genuinely going to be on board with that. I love the BL. I'm always willing to go on a field trip, and like, yeah, I'll go to the. You know what? We'll do it, but then I'll do that speech at one point where I'm just like, okay, Katie, this has gone too far. At the point when we're like troubling people, relatives of the dead ghost, Hopefully before we do that. Oh yeah. Well, no, I'll let it get that far. Then I'll be like, no, this has got too far. And I'll be like, you figured me out, you cad. And then I'll leave and you'll do like the exorcism scene on your own, but then I'll come in at the end and be like, still got you, buddy. And I'll be like, okay. This is nothing. The whole you've interrupted this dinner party. It's not an exorcism. Oh. Why wasn't I invited? Because you stormed off. You wouldn't follow my crazy ghost trip. Oh god. Anyway, so yeah, I think, that went on a tangent. And all of that explains why we don't like Don't Worry, I think our conversation about that was more interesting than the whole movie. Oh god, I think so. It was just very There are only a couple of things that could have saved this movie. Number one would have been Shia LaBeouf. I'm sorry, but I love Shia LaBeouf, and he could have saved this movie. I truly believe it in my bones. Shia LaBeouf because she was originally Olivia Wilde was going to cast herself as the Florence Pugh role. Which would have been interesting. Shia LaBeouf and Olivia Wilde as the leads in this movie would have been a very different direction. I'm thinking, oh god, thinking Shia LaBeouf and Florence Pugh, not Olivia Wilde. Okay. Then number two, the script was terrible, and the flashes that she had should have been modern world flashes. So we knew not from right at the beginning, but we knew 15, 20 minutes of the way through that it was the modern world. And it wasn't like The Village where you don't know all the way up until the end, which is a great twist. And I love that twist, and I will stand by M. Night Shyamalan. But we don't need to do it twice. Like, if they'd done it as just like, it's been done. It wasn't done in The Village. Number three. Number three of what could have made this better is, obviously, with the Shia LaBeouf, we're cutting out Harry Styles, but in general, no Harry Styles. in any of this. That dance scene would have been done a lot better by Shia LaBeouf. I know, I stand by that. And number 4, like we all talked about this, but the Chris Pine character, it wasn't fleshed out at all. It was like the weakest character, and if you just fleshed it out to make it like pure Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson style bullshit, every time he talks, you just want to hear bullshit. Sorry, I can say that differently if you don't want me to say shit on this podcast.
No, I'm fine with you saying that.
And I just, I've just been talking shit this whole time. But if you just made him like so dislikable that you're like really rooting for Pew, it would have been a lot better. Because I am rooting for Pew, of course, in everything, even when she's the villain. But
especially.
But it would have been even better if you'd had a clear villain. Like,
yeah, I think so. And just, I don't know. I'm so tired of the gaslighting thing, and it's hard to see how to fix this because it's been so done as the 1950s claustrophobic kind of horror thing. And one example I can think of is there's a mission in Fallout 3 where you enter into a simulation and there is a recreation of an idyllic 1950s America in there where all of the people inside of the vault are trapped, and you make the decision as to whether to let them stay there trapped forever or kill them all. But before you do, this little kid tricks you into trying to ruin people's routines and lives in weird little disruptive ways that sort of expose the simulation. And it's interesting, little things like that, just more of this world and what it means that it is a simulation would be interesting. But I don't know, because if you compare it to Get Out, because this was meant to be the sort of, Get Out, it was going to do for sort of female oppression what Get Out did for, black oppression in modern America. But there was something so unique and new about Get Out. The idea that the appropriation of black culture and identity extends right down to white people hijacking their bodies.
Yeah.
That was such a fresh and new take, and the film itself was so unique and interesting and creepy that, and the scare sequences were so different.
And it started in this very normal way, in the way that Don't Worry Darling starts. It started in this way where, a woman is going to take her new boyfriend to meet her parents for the first time, and you have Bradley Whitford, he's there, and he says he'd vote for Obama a third time if they'd let him, and all that
little things about Jesse Owen,
all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. And then you're like, okay, what is going to happen? Clearly, something is about to happen.
Yeah,
and this could have done the same thing, but as soon as weird stuff started happening, it wasn't good weird stuff. We like weird stuff.
No, it's conventional.
It was bad weird stuff. And there's an example of a recent gaslighting movie. Which worked. And that is The Invisible Man.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a great movie. And it is gaslighting. They do use it. But there is, there's always one person who believes them and, helps them.
So it doesn't get too tiresome for the audience. And also, they keep finding new ways of the guy escaping detection. Now he's framing her for murder and doing these things. Whereas in this, as soon as Florence Pugh gets too close to the truth, just men in red coats appear and, drag her away and hypnotize her and reset her back to normal.
Yeah.
So it gets very repetitive as well.
What would have been great is a one-on-one scene between Florence Pugh and Frank, the Chris Pine character. If they'd had this sit-down thing where he does that, that thing where people basically explain what's happening. Yeah. He could have done that. He could have been I'm going to sit you down. What do you want to do? I'm going to tell you what's happening. Because she's got too close to the truth at this point. Do you want to stay in the simulation? Do you want to go home?
I could turn the tables if you like, and you can get it over on Harry Styles and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And be like, now you can be my go-to woman. You know?
You can control the rest of this neighborhood. And if there was more intrigue, more involvement with her with the other characters, you might see that there are things within this community that she wants. And that would make the decision to leave more complicated.
Oh my god, Decision to Leave, great movie.
That was a dramatic decision to leave. This decision to leave was not complicated.
This was, I'm going by.
You sure you don't want to stay here with Nick?
And then it could have cut into this. It could have cut, and you could have had a very short scene, or just black, where she's back being a surgeon. So it would be she made that decision, and then it's just her walking down the hallway in a hospital, and she just smiles, cut. And then it would have been so much better than that stupid chase scene at the end, which was it's just a car chase scene. If I want a car chase scene, I know
of her just braking and having 3 cars. What was the car's plan? They were all driving towards her as fast as they could. Were they planning to crash into her?
Yeah, maybe they just want to kill her.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, because like you could have complicated it, because this could be an idea. Because okay, a new take on this. What were the incentives for women to try and stay in this horrible system? Because you see it all the time. Republican women coming out advocating for a return to traditional values.
It's called trad wives, which is short for like traditional wives. And there's like a big community of trad wives on the internet where they're like, you know, we're gonna be traditional. We're gonna be like we're in the 50s, you know. And I think obviously one incentive of that is not having to work. No offense. Well, actually, kind of offense.
Work sucks.
But you know, some people
Can I be a trad wife?
Yeah, you can be my trad wife.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but you have to clean my room.
I feel like I could do that. Oh wait, I just remembered what your room was like.
Oh, you suck. Yeah, and like how, you know, you kind of, if you want to be a mother, which is perfectly within your right to be, then obviously it's great. You get to spend a lot more time with your children. I have friends who are mothers who work, and they would love to spend more time with their children. They would also love to spend less time with their children sometimes. But like,
it's the choice.
Yeah, it's a choice, and some people are allowed to make that choice. And it would have been great if maybe they flipped the whole thing, right? And we've got Joe Rogan. How about we have trad wives? How about a whole load of these wives are like these people that want to live in this traditional society?
What Olivia Wilde does, right? She's
but we could have
had
more.
That's why she's gaslighting them. But yeah, we could do more with her, because ultimately, if Florence Pugh leaves, that could be the decision that means, and she could know that if she leaves, it's going to make it harder for Olivia Wilde to keep hold of her like fake kids. In that sense that, you know, I don't know, like, the metaphor's getting clumsy, because ultimately women seeking careers and being their own people does not affect somebody, or should not affect somebody's decision to, you know, be a mother if they want to be. It's cloudy, but it's interesting, and it could be explored, and there's different places to take this, and more modern ways of taking this than just the very familiar Stepford Wives being a wife in the 50s sucked and it was a prison for everyone. Like, we absolutely know. There's just other ways you could take this that might be more interesting. And ultimately, at the heart of this, I think, is just a kind of lack of insight, and then a lack of originality as well. That means no matter how flashy your visuals are, it's not going to be Get Out, because it's not new or exciting.
No.
Well, look, let's quickfire some things that we actually liked about the movie.
Okay.
Quickfire. Well, I will say some of the vision sequences were very attractive. I mean, the dancing girls, like, lit up by these bright lights on a black background. Again, it's very much like The Sunken Place and Get Out, but it's still, yeah, they look good. It's just a weird decision.
Okay. I liked the costumes. I thought the 50s costumes were really cool. Yeah. I liked all of Florence Pugh's dresses. I want to know where they got them. I like the way that she did change, you know, how that she kind of put on the cleaning clothes when she was cleaning, and then as she got crazier, she stopped dressing as nicely.
Yeah.
So it was that kind of deterioration into madness that was reflected in her costume, which I appreciate.
Good stuff.
Good costume.
Storytelling through costume. Good stuff. I like the sets. I think the houses look really good in that sort of very kind of modernist 50s design kind of way, and in particular Frank's house, which I believe is a real house that is rarely filmed and never filmed within, and they got exclusive rights to do this, so it was a very attractive place. Yeah.
I don't know if this counts as like something I liked, but something that I thought was particularly dumb, which made me laugh. So I guess it made me laugh. So that's
that's a good thing.
So when you get this kind of, I don't know if we mentioned this sequence of Harry Styles putting him and Florence Pugh into the simulation, and he has to fill in a whole load of questions, and at one point he has to decide what nationality he's going to be.
Yes.
And so this explains why he's British, because clearly Harry Styles' American accent is awful, honestly. Yeah, he does it for that one scene. And so it says, which nationality do you want to be? And he says, British. And I'm like, oh, I love that you put in that one line so you could explain away. But you didn't need to. It doesn't matter. Yeah. People marry people that have different nationalities all the time. You really did not need to explain the fact he was British. But I like the fact they were like, oh no, let's put this one line in just to explain the fact that we have Harry Styles instead of Shia LaBeouf.
His accent was so weird throughout. Like, at one stage he was just like, I thought near the beginning that he was trying to do an American accent, but then at some stage the doctor's like, what is it you Brits say? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that, like, what he was trying to do, maybe, is trying to be clever and be like, oh, my original accent's coming through. But I don't think that's the case. I think he was just acting really badly.
What if Margaret was right?
Stop it, Alice.
What if this place is dangerous? What if...
Stop it! I'm part of something important, Alice. This mission, what Frank's doing, it matters.
I know that, baby, but you're not listening.
No, not everyone gets this opportunity. And if you keep talking like this, you're going to put it all at risk.
You're worried about a demotion? That's what you're worried about?
Our life. Alice, our life together. This. We could lose this.
Oh,
Poor Harry Styles.
Well, look, I'll have his next thing. I enjoyed his dance. It was a mad sequence.
Oh my
God,
it
really
was
weird.
so weird.
It was so weird, but I enjoyed the dance.
Don't watch the movie, just YouTube Harry Styles' Don't Worry Darling dance.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, I was a bit uncomfortable for most of it.
Was it too sexually provocative?
No.
Oh.
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 I liked the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe 10
good setup.
maybe 15. Good setup. Yeah, cool 50s houses, cool 50s costumes. Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh had quite a nice friendship actually at the beginning, this kind of banter. She had this kind of interesting relationship with her kids where they were they liked her and they hugged her and it was all
yeah.
I don't think Pugh and Styles had the most chemistry ever, but I didn't think they had zero chemistry.
No.
I think it could have been better if it was, say, I don't know, Shia LaBeouf. I'm not letting this go.
For example.
But yeah, I think that, the setup was good.
Yeah.
So just watch that and then the end.
Yeah. The dumb ending. Watch that and the dance. That's all you need. Yeah, speaking of, the scene in which he did perform oral sex on her at the dinner table, it was quite provocative. The camera's moving, we're seeing the food going all over the place and she's stretching out and there's a good sort of tossing care to the wind and just kind of being in the moment kind of thing. But again, when you realize she's his prisoner, the female pleasure, as Olivia Wilde put it, is a bit of an odd inclusion.
Yeah.
There.
Also, how does it work? How does he actually stimulate her? Anyway, don't worry.
Don't look too heavily into that.
Don't look at it, darling.
Don't look at it, darling. Sequel.
Don't think about it, darling.
So finally, I will say, the last scene I'll highlight it's a tricky one to highlight because it is a bit of a cliche. Is the mirror scene when she's in the ballet, because we've all seen Black Swan. We all know how it goes when the mirror starts doing weird stuff. But nevertheless, it was well filmed and it was creepy. And yeah, I remember it being an effective little scare moment in the cinema. So yeah, I like that. I like that stuff. And some of the creepy visions were quite good. I like the wall pressing her against the glass. And that's the only one I really vividly remember. But yeah, it was good stuff. It was good enough for the trailers to make us feel intrigued. Because we had a lot of trailers for this.
We had different trailers. There was one trailer which has none of that creepy stuff. And then they realised they probably had to include it. And then we were hang on, is this a different movie? I'm so confused.
They did one where it was just this is a 50s American tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, with no horror elements. I've just remembered WandaVision. The idea, not One Division, WandaVision.
I was thinking about this a lot the other day when I was thinking about this episode, yeah.
Yeah, because that's an interesting one in which a woman has actually chosen to trap herself in a trad wife role.
Yeah,
in order to escape a horrible truth, and the horrible truth.
It's her grief. Her grief plus magic creates this 50s. Spoilers for WandaVision. Creates this kind of 50s, then 60s, 70s, 80s. Lifestyle in which that she is the traditional wife, and then she has to deal with her grief after that, and it's a pretty good series. I watched the whole thing in a day.
Honestly, it might be my favorite of the Marvel series.
So the one I've watched, so me too.
Excellent. I recommend keeping it that way. No, a couple of them are good. Loki's quite good. Anyway, that's Marvel. This is Don't Worry, Darling. And I will finish by just saying it is a bummer that it was bad because, Booksmart was really good.
It was so good, Barcelona.
Booksmart is one of the... when I lived in Barcelona. Booksmart is one of the best movies of recent years. It was in my top 10 of that year, and I would probably include it in a top, at the very least 20 of the 2010s.
Same.
Movies.
Yeah.
Because it was brilliant. And
it was so good. As soon as it started, I was I was on for it. Like when they do that bit where they're dancing towards each other and they're like, and they're like complimenting each other. And they're like, you look amazing. Yeah. And I was like, this is so like the female relationship that I wish I had.
And it's so funny.
You need to start doing that to me when we meet up. Just like start complimenting me as I walk towards you.
Okay, and doing like the weird dance.
Yeah, it has to come with the dance.
I will be your Beanie Feldstein.
I've always wanted a Beanie Feldstein.
I will try and be your Beanie Feldstein. So yeah, but like it was so inventive. Like little moments, like the scene where they're both dolls, and like the bit where the bit that always cracked me up was when they were speaking Chinese to each other in code, and somehow Caitlin Dever knew the Chinese for something like criminal negligence or something like that. It's just so good. But like that was so inventive and new. Like it felt a bit like the 21 and 22 Jump Street style surreal humor kind of thing, but it was so fresh, and just I really hope that what this does is kind of course correct for Olivia Wilde, because it does smack a little bit of sort of tricky second feature thing where you get a lot of confidence, maybe a bit of arrogance off of the success of your first film, and you know, you kind of lose your way with the second movie. So let's just hope the third movie pulls it back.
It's a shame because I actually watched recently a film with Olivia Wilde in that was awful. And so now I just have like a really bad vision of Olivia Wilde, which I know she isn't a bad actress. It was oh my god, maybe you can remind me of the name. It was that film where like time is the currency, and it's
In Time.
In Time.
With
Such a
Justin
bad movie.
Timberlake.
It's so bad.
Oh my god.
And Olivia Wilde is Justin Timberlake's mum, and it just doesn't make any kind of
yeah. Amanda Seyfried's in that, right?
Yeah, she's like the love interest.
I feel like somebody I know really likes that movie, and I can't remember who it is.
I wanted to like it, and then I was like, but then
I didn't.
10 minutes in, I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah, the premise gets lost like 10 minutes in. It runs out of time.
Anyway,
she was good in her one scene in her. She was
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh god, the OG team. So we have one comment from L. Scott Jose on Patreon. Thank you very much for getting in touch. And the comment is, Florence Pugh is the new Anna Faris in that she's almost always fantastic and seems to constantly be in shite. Well, I can't speak for Anna Faris. But Florence Pugh's been in some really good stuff lately.
Oh my god, The Wonder, hello.
I know, The Wonder is really good. Maybe you haven't gone around to that yet because it's so brand new, but I would
It's on
highly
Netflix
recommend
right now.
That, but agreed, she has made some unfortunate decisions recently, because before that it's like her new Marvel
I didn't mind
stuff.
it. I didn't mind it. I didn't love it though.
Oh, she was in Little Women.
Yeah, she was great in that.
She was very good in that. She was
Didn't
like
she
the best
win
one in that.
Best Supporting Actress for that?
Don't think so. It would have.
Oh, she definitely got nominated.
I think so, but she was like the most memorable sister in that. She played the fun one, sort of hectic one.
Yeah,
and she was really great in that. She was in Midsommar, of course, which was quite something. And I haven't seen Fighting with My Family.
Fighting with My Family is excellent. I love it.
It's really good.
It's so good. It's so funny. Florence Pugh is brilliant. I'm really if you're into WWE as much as I am, I would seriously recommend it, because it takes from the real history of what was going on in WWE. Yeah. And Vince Vaughn is excellent in it. Everybody is perfectly cast, and
amazing.
Like the final scene gave me actual shivers, and I was like,
oh my god,
yeah, I was like, oh, this. When I first saw it, I was like, this actress is gonna be really big, and I was right.
Well, we first saw her in Lady Macbeth, of course,
yes,
way back in the bad old days.
Way back. That was really good.
Yeah, but yeah, she has been in some very good things and some very bad things. She was also in like The Outlaw King with Chris Pine. Oh my god. Oh my god. She's due to be in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
The Last Wish.
The Last Wish, and of course
new
Oppenheimer,
boots.
and
some flip flops.
New boots. This is really getting full of cat situation. And she's going to be in a movie directed by Zach Braff.
Her partner.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, well, as far as I know, they're still together. I'm not I don't check up on.
I didn't know that.
On Hollywood partners very often, but last time I heard they were still together, Florence Pugh and Zach Braff.
Well, it's going to be a hell of a year for her next year, because she's going to be in The Good Person by Zach Braff, and then she's going to be in Oppenheimer in June 2.
Oppenheimer, yeah. If you're a cinema goer like we are, you're going to be so sick of the Oppenheimer trailer.
Oh my god,
we're seeing it already, and it's not out until the 23rd of July next year.
Every movie has the Oppenheimer trailer.
Every single
one, and
one.
It's like, okay. It's Oppenheimer, though. Like, the Batman trailer, I was happy to get before every movie I ever saw, and would continue to get that I would love to continue to get that trailer forever. The trailer for The Dark Knight Rises, one of the best trailers ever. Oppenheimer, it's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Kind of crazy you're pushing it this hard.
Yeah, like you didn't need to advertise a Christopher Nolan movie this much.
Yeah,
it's not like, oh, who's that guy? Like,
are you trying to build the hype so that you get like a bunch of film bros like Oppenheimer, like at the premiere? Like, this is such a weird idea. Apparently, it's going to stretch 45 years of history. That was the OG team. But what about the one better thing? The one better thing. Do you have one?
I have a couple.
Okay,
so actually one of them was going to be The Village,
okay,
which we talked about already a little bit. So M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, in which, massive spoiler here, so skip forward if you don't want to hear it. You're in this kind of period time.
Yeah.
It's period, you know, that kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of Wicker Man style village. Everything's kind of cool and nice. Spooky stuff starts happening. Main character goes through the forest, gets to the end of the forest, and it's a road, and a car goes past, and you're like, shit, it's the modern world. Oh my god. How did they not see airplanes? But let's not think about that.
There is a line where they explain that apparently some rich guy paid to have all of the flight paths diverted around this place, which is amazing. You know, there's a movie called Dogtooth where the kids have been gaslit into thinking...
Dogtooth.
You've seen Dogtooth. Dogtooth's so good. And
good.
In there, the planes are little insects which you could catch if you grabbed well enough. Yeah.
It's so good.
So good.
So that's one of them. My second one is The Stepford Wives.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In which, I'm sure most of you know, either version, both good, in which there's an idyllic village where men go to work, women stay at home, and the women are transformed into a kind of perfect wife.
Yeah.
And then a outsider comes in, and you know, stuff happens, and stuff is revealed and bamboozled. So it's not like a VR; it's real life, but there's still like the sci-fi element. And my third one.
Amazing.
My third one is the SCOP 7 movie.
Oh my god, Seeing Double?
Where they go through this, like, I don't know if there's more than one SCOP 7 movie. They go through like they're driving in their car, because you can get 7 people in a car apparently, and they go through like a veil, and they're in the 50s.
Oh no, this was their television show.
Yeah.
They had 2 television shows, right? Miami Twice or something like that, and
this was maybe a TV movie or something, because it was definitely a movie.
My sister had it on several VHS tapes.
But they go, and they're in the 50s, and then it's like modern people in the 50s doing 50s stuff, and that's like, it's a dumb suggestion, but I just like the fact that they go through, and their immediate thought isn't let's like go try and get back. Their immediate thought is let's go bowling. So
you're right, it was a one-off sitcom from British pop group S Club 7 that aired in 1990.
There you go. So those my main suggestion would be The Stepford Wives.
Oh, the opening theme was S Club Party. That's wow. A bold choice.
They could do that, you know, where like Harry Styles is humming. They can be like
and Florence Pugh looks over like
and she's like, ain't no party like an escort party. Oh my god. I just fixed this movie. I just fixed
this movie. If it was S Club that was the siren call back to sanity.
My god. And she's just like, I don't know, she's just there like humming it, and you don't realize, you're like, I know that song, and then right at the end she's like, ain't no party like an escort party.
That's the dramatic line as she leaves. No, Florence, come back to the party. It ain't no party. Not like her. And then she touches the thing and she goes through a world.
Okay, what are your better things?
You know, I think we've mentioned a couple during the actual show. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, something singular. Okay, if you want to see a better Harry Styles performance, watch Dunkirk.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any lines in that, so...
He has a couple lines, and they use him just enough. So, yeah, I think that's it. There's other, like, play that mission from Fallout 3. It was very good. Go play Fallout 3 and play up to the point where you do the 50s simulation.
I mean, there are other simulation movies, you know?
Yeah.
Like Toriko or...
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Running Man.
Yeah.
I'm just going for, like, I want to watch movies.
It is so done, is the thing. It's been done so many times before that it just... The movie, it's kind of like Reminiscence, right? Where it's just like, oh, it's this big sci-fi movie, but, like, we've seen all of this stuff before.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Anywho.
Okay.
So that was the one better thing. The one better thing.
One better.
Katie, how can people find out about you and your endeavours?
Well, I don't really do much because I work in a library. But if you want to listen to some history, you can go to Have You Ever Heard of Pod? Have You Ever Pod on Twitter. We don't actually post very much on Twitter, but we post much more on our Patreon, which you don't have to sign up. You can just follow us for free. And that's Have You Ever Pod on Patreon.
Excellent. And if you want to find out more about One Good Thing, it's just OGT Pod is what you need. Type it into whatever you like and you'll get results about us.
I'm typing it in right now to my menstruation app.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you're there.
Oh my god. We're here to offer some form of comfort and relief, but nobody uses it for that. Just nobody has chosen that option yet. The people at the menstruation app were very excited about the possibility, but there's been very low take-up. People find us stressful. Worse than the menstruation is what the feedback that we're getting.
That is going to be your new tagline.
Worse than menstruation.
Worse than menstruation, and also one of Nick Clegg's favourite podcasts.
Amazing. That's the audience we've been courting. I'm Paul Coalition.
And I'm not Paul Goodman.
It's all I've ever needed you to be. And remember, the one good thing about Don't Worry Darling. Oh, I do want to say that it's just Harry Styles' sad cat face.